Let's give it up for Kim Martin, your amazing state party chair. Minnesota, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Y'all, I can feel it too. It's cold up here. Let me tell you this. I am so excited. I'm so excited because we're 4 days from this election. 4 days from this election. And folks, so much is on the line. One, you have some amazing leaders in this state. Leaders that I am so proud of, so proud to call friends. The governor, your amazing lieutenant governor, Keith Ellison, who's my brother from another mother, your attorney general, your amazing secretary of state, your amazing state auditor, and let me know them and start about your congressional delegation. I've known Betty McCollum for a long time. I was her bus captain when I first started on Capitol Hill. And then your 2 amazing United States senators. Folks, give it up for your delegation. Amy and Tina, thank you all for your leadership, what you do in the Senate each and every day. Folks, democracy is on the ballot. Hope is on the ballot. Our kids' future is on the ballot. And the entire country is looking at what happens right here in Minnesota. We need you. We need you, folks. We need you to turn out like you have never turned out before. Because a lot of folks are doubting us. A lot of folks believe that we can't deliver. But folks, think about where we were just a few years ago. We had a president in the White House who would wake up each and every day and preach bigotry and hatred and division. And in 2020 of November, 80 million of us stood up and said, we will not be silent anymore. We are going to double down on hope.
Let's go.
Well, hope again is on the ballot, and the question is, what will we do about it? You know, Dr. King in his letter from the Birmingham jail said, we will repent in this generation, not merely for the hateful words and actions of the bad people, but for the appalling silence of the good people. It's time for the good people to step up. It's time for the good people to stand up. It's time for the good people to say, enough is enough. You know, the President Biden and Vice President Harris, when they got to the White House, they had a lot of stuff to clean up. And there are a lot of promises that he made on the campaign trail. Well, the first thing he did in the first 100 days is pass the American Rescue Plan. Got shots in arms. Kept the pensions for a lot of our union members alive and well. Made sure that we kept our schools open. Made sure that our law enforcement, emergency officials had the resources that they needed. Cut childhood poverty in half. And not one Republican voted for it. But that was a promise he made and was a promise he kept. Look at all of the other things. From the CHIP and Science Act, making sure we're investing in manufacturing in this country. The PACT Act, making sure that we take care of our veterans. The bipartisan infrastructure bill, roads, bridges, water, making sure that there's internet in our rural communities. Promises made, folks. Promises kept. The president said in South Carolina when he was on a debate stage, Amy, you remember this.
Yeah, I was there.
You were there. He said it on the debate stage. He said, if I become president of the United States, I'm going to put the first African-American woman in the United States Supreme Court. Yeah. Folks, I don't know if you watched those hearings, but Ted Cruz and that ilk, they called her everything but a child of God. But guess what they called her this morning? Madam Justice. Folks, promise made, promise kept. Look at the Inflation Reduction Act. We know you all are feeling what climate change is right here in Minnesota. The largest investment of any nation on this planet in terms of fighting the climate crisis. We did that without one Republican vote. Promise made, promise kept. And in the same bill, what we did in terms of allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drugs, capping the cost of prescription drugs for our seniors at $2,000, making sure that seniors aren't paying more than $35 for insulin. We did that. You all did that. Promise made. So, folks, they're making some promises also. They had a promise that for 50 years that they would get rid of Roe. And they kept that promise. They're now saying that they want a national abortion ban. And if we allow them to go to the Senate and to take the House, they'll keep that promise too. They're talking about wrecking Social Security and Medicare. You had a senator the other day from Utah who said he wants to rip Social Security out by its roots, folks. That's your money. That is your money that you put into the system, and you deserve to get it back. So they're making promises also. But folks, with their superpower is fear and division, our superpower is hope. That's right. You know, in my home state of South Carolina, we have a motto, and I'm going to close with this. Our motto is, while I breathe, I hope. While I breathe, I hope. Folks, the one thing that I've learned in life is that hope alone is not enough. In order to make hope real, you got to do have to take a little action, a little elbow grease. That means you got to knock on some doors. That means you need to make a few phone calls. That means you need to send a few text messages. That means you need to take your auntie, your uncle, your niece, your nephew, your grandma, your grandpa to the polls. So folks, if you are really serious about hope in these next 4 days, our motto is not while I breathe, I hope, but while I breathe, I vote, because that is how we make hope real here in Minnesota. So are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do this, y'all.